Alright, hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another tutorial. I was gonna say it's early for me, but you guys can already tell that it's only like 1 p.m. I just woke up slightly late today. I don't feel that great, my arms are killing me. Also, I've been running into some PC issues, so I'm not sure if this will work out for me recording this. Hopefully. I did just fix my power supply, because what's been happening is I'll just be working in Blender for a while, and then when I start rendering or something, my whole computer restarts. It's been a big issue recently that I'm not a big fan of. So today I wanted to do kind of a simple tutorial, something I could do pretty fast. It's based off of this guy, Corza or something like that. He kind of made these like rocks on curve effects that I really like. I actually have it saved, I can show you it. So basically what the effect is this, where you can draw a rock being made. There's some issues with this that I have right now, that if you start going too far off the stream, it starts really down-resing itself, so you kind of have to keep things pretty contained, and then maybe duplicating it and then kind of drawing might be your option. But the idea is that we're kind of building a rocky like mesh, and I'll probably go over some ways to make this look better than what it is now. It's just not that important, I think, at the moment, so I will bring them up as I remember them. So anyways, let's hop into Geonodes, open that up, and let's create a Bezier curve. It's going to be based on a curve, so that way we can, you know, draw more curves, because you need this draw tool. Anyways, what I want to do is I kind of want to at least get a base shape for this to start off with, so I usually just make a bigger curve. Here, let me just save this quick, just in case I have some issues later on. I should be fine with, wait, I didn't put this in the right folder, but that's fine. If for some reason I have PC issues again, I'm gonna have to fix more stuff, but I'm not sure. It could be my CPU or my GPU. All signs are pointing to my power supply, so I had replaced it. So we're hoping. If this does crash, I'm gonna be upset and this video won't come out. So yeah, let's just get started. So we're gonna create a new geometry node, and first thing what we're going to do is we're going to resample the curve. Now I haven't made a geometry nodes tutorial yet, but I'm getting more well versed in it, so I decided I would do it. I'm not going to really explain what most of these do. You'll kind of figure them out as you do more geometry node tutorials, but I will explain some stuff in terms of getting the result that we want here. I guess it's plain and simple from there, but I'll try to not talk too much about it. Anyways, let's instance on points. You might be wondering why we want to do that. Well, we're going to be instancing a Ico Sphere. Now, I realized that you could probably, like, if I think about it, you could probably have something else besides an Ico Sphere. Like, maybe you could actually create rock shapes and then distribute them along this. This might be a better result in all that, but this was a easy fix. For now, we're gonna do this, but I probably will need to change it. Actually, that looks good. So we're gonna have the length set to 1, radius set to 1. You can make it bigger or whatever, and subdivisions can be low, but we're gonna keep them at 3 for now. Next, what I want to do is I want to insert a random value node into the scale, so that way we get some random scale values here. We're just going to up this a little bit to maybe like 0.5, so that way they're always touching and there's not really a separation there, even if there's multiple I guess spheres in there. I could maybe make this bigger so that way there's more of a separation. Yeah, that might look cool. Alright, for the most part, that is good. Another thing we could do is we could displace this Ico Sphere, but I'm gonna do that now as a different thing. So let's realize these instances, set position, and insert a noise texture color into the offsets. So now they're all kind of warpy and shit. Does this have a Voronoi texture? Actually it does. Wait, hold up, this might be better. We're gonna insert a Voronoi texture in here because I think it might be a little bit more realistic. It's a little too shrapnel-y. I don't know, because if I turn this to 0 for some reason, yeah, you know what, let's just use a noise texture. It's what I've been using for this, so I think it will look better. Yeah, it affects the whole thing, so we'll use a noise texture, kind of reduce the scale, so I did like 1. Well, detailed doesn't matter too much. It might be better to keep it low initially, but again, this is stuff you can play around with, and I'll show you how to play around with it later. So for now, the one thing you might notice is that it is slightly off the curve. Like if I plug this in and this in, okay, it's not on the center. So if you see this, you'll notice if I plug this in, it starts to push off, and it's not what you want. So a nice thing to note with set positions, and this is something you learn when you do Geonodes for a while and you use a noise texture as an offset, what you need to do to end up centering things, and I forget the reasoning off the top of my head, but what you need to do is add a vector math set to subtract, and subtract everything by 0.5. Now everything should be centered, and now we kind of have like very rocky shapes. Technically you could call it here. This actually might be like a better rock shape than what I was doing, and you probably will have less issues if you go further. But something that I wanted, well actually the only other thing you would add to this to make it look really, I guess, more realistic is set shade smooth, and then boom, you got yourself rocks. Obviously adding more subdivisions can help there if you want. Maybe less, I don't know, want low poly stuff, do your thing. But what I did originally, because I wanted some of these lines to merge, like none of the spheres are technically like connected, and I wanted to do like some sort of remeshing to this. So the only real way to do that is to distribute points on faces. Let's set this to like a high value, like 1,000. And from there, what we do is we're gonna do points to volume. And the issue that I have with Geonodes is there's not a basic remesh feature, but there is volumizing to meshes and stuff. So that's what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna do volume to mesh at the end. And now we have a very remeshed thing. For the most part, the only thing you have to do from here is change the size of the radius over here. Maybe add way more points. I usually just play around with this until it starts looking good. It's going to be very slow, to be fair. This is scary. I don't know. Let's set it to like 0.2. It looked kind of good. So yeah, from there we could up the voxel amount. just to make it more detailed. Sometimes the threshold helps a little bit if you want to tightly pack stuff, but for the most part, you don't really need to mess with that. It's really just the point values, because if you have not enough points, like let's say we had 1 point, there's not enough, right? So this might need to be updated depending on how far you go, because as you can see, the more we go out, the less this works. That was the main issue I had before. But this is pretty much done, and then all you have to do is set shade smooth and set material at the end. So then you can set to a rock material like I already had made on my previous Geonode thing that I imported at the beginning of this video. And if it lets me do anything, hopefully, I should be good. Okay, I'm good now. It is ready. This is just a procedural rock material that I made. We can take a look at this if you guys want. It's not that important. Select rocks. So yeah, oh yeah, I was testing something here. Ignore this. For the most part, you'll have one and it'll set to all. So don't worry about it. But this is the setup I have. Certain things are easily selected. It's mainly noise textures and stuff. Some highlight bits on the rock. You can obviously change the color of any of these to whatever you want. Mixtures, a lot of them. Added some color to this one, because why not? We have bumps, which are mainly, it mainly seems like it's affecting certain bits. Push the white in, affects the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of basic stuff. You guys can watch my how to make procedural planets tutorial, and I pretty much go over these exact nodes that you need to play with and sort of are the basis for procedural texturing. So this is what I used. You can see that there's some like kind of stretching thing going on here. Originally what I did to fight this was, we don't need the mapping node, but what I did originally, technically this is my original, but I had done this twice before. We can plug in object coordinates, because the UVs seem to be a little messed up unless you, I guess, correctly put them together, if that makes sense. You have to do a whole system. Also, I'm in like a weird mindset to do a tutorial today, but whatever. Anyways, yeah, we just have to plug all those in. You'll notice that it's way smaller on objects. Like everything just seems like it's a much smaller value and it's more of like a refined detail thing. You can just make these like maybe size them up to 1 and then it'll look right. Now there's no stretching, and yeah, you can do this. Now the reason why we want the volume to mesh thing is because, like, let's say we want to connect points. It's very easy. Like everything sort of melds together properly. The one big thing that I didn't like about specifically, like let's say we skipped all of these steps, maybe did this, right? And then gone in, you see all the like spacing in between, and I guess that's fine for rocks. It'll kind of look more like stacked rocks than anything. So yeah, I mean, like this could be cool too if you want to do like kind of like a stacked rock at a beach, something like that. But doing, I suppose, all of this together just makes it so you can create like maybe a cave entrance. So you want to do a cave, boom, it's a cave with like little bits on it. Let's cut to 1, kind of do that, and then yeah, you know, that's kind of how I see it. You could easily add more points. It's hard to use the draw tool sometimes, but you get the gist here. You can create cool rock formations with this. I like it. This is one of my first Geonode tutorials, so I'm sorry if I didn't explain things too well. But let's say you want to adjust some of these values, because again, you can procedurally adjust a lot of things here outside of having to open up this slider. And instead, you might want it on here in your modifier stack where the Geonodes are. To do this, you have to connect whatever value you do want into this group input node. So for instance, the subdivision count I might want. You can also click N on your keyboard, go to group over here, and change the name of this thing. So we can say sphere subdivisions. I'm not going to be renaming all of these to what I would name these, but you guys can see that it is now renamed here, and we can, you know, change that via this. You won't be able to change it here though afterwards. Let's say you want the max values for the spheres, so you want them to be small or big. Like I don't know what you want to do. The noise features, you know, you could do a lot of that. You can also duplicate this and move it around, and then start plugging in other things. So points, maybe seed values for that, the voxel amount. So I guess anything that you think is like something that will be useful. Another thing I would definitely plug in is your material output. I would plug that in. Also setting shade smooth, because there might be a reason for you not to want it to be shade smooth. I don't know what that reason would be, but you know, you have the ability. Pretty much anything in here you can plug in. You can rename to anything. They all show up over here. And I guess I'll mention another thing. Like theoretically, if you had 2 noise values and you wanted, the scale is already plugged in, right, to this one. Let's unplug it actually. The scale is plugged into the scale, but let's say you wanted this scale to also control this scale. All you have to do is that, and then if it needed to be like differentiated between something, you could add like a math value, like multiply. So anytime this scale is moved, it's maybe multiplied by 2 to do, let's say we did something stupid that I don't think I would do normally, but we could do this. So now, oh wait, wrong value, sorry. Now, if we do this, this one's getting multiplied by 2, and every single time, and it just adds a maybe second layer of displacement to it. That's like the basis of that. I don't want to go over too much on here, because this is like slightly more complicated than like a basic Geonodes tutorial. But I kind of went over how to put all your modifiers in here, in your modifier stack. I showed you how to basically just make a rock thing on curves, which is sick, because now you can do whatever you want. It's cool. Use it to your heart's content. If you watched my last tutorial, you'll know that you could mark it. Actually, you could right click, mark as asset, and it will immediately save into whatever file path you have it saved to. So if you go to system or file paths, you'll see that I have asset libraries, and I have my Geonodes saved in a certain area: rocks, textures, planets, random models, a bunch of stuff, and they're all in here. So then when you want, you can drag it in like I do. Shatter Effects, yeah, Shatter Effects. Let's look at that. Bam, boom, 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 boom. You know, you could add a lot of stuff in here. I have a lot of stuff in here that I made on my own. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent right now on all this stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, I'll be back at some point next week, as usual, to make another tutorial. Hopefully my next one's going to be anime related. I have just been struggling a lot with this computer and making it so that it wouldn't refresh on me, or restart on me, because I've been working on my Chainsaw Man thing, There's just some models for it that have been a little annoying, to say the least. So yeah, I've just been fixing my computer. I'm sorry that I probably sound a little out of it right now, because I have been working my ass off trying to fix this thing. Hopefully it's fixed now. Power supply has been changed. And yeah, I shouldn't have any issues, but we'll see. We'll see. Alright, guys. Peace, subscribe, all that. If you subscribe more, I can fully upgrade this PC and not have to worry about it ever again in my life. Alright. Bye, guys.